Okay. So, this is going to be our first showing on 1-point perspective. Okay, that's kind of what we're going to be working on today. So, first things first, I assume that you all want to do really, really well, and or at least not fail miserably. So I'm going to show you a little, I don't know what you would call it, a little design, maybe a little icon, that if you know this, if you memorize this diagram, I promise you, you will never not be able to draw 1-point perspective perfectly. Okay? Here's the diagram. There you go. That's it. If you can memorize this little tiny diagram, I promise you, everything else in 1-point perspective is going to be easy peasy. So allow me to explain it to you. Okay? Whenever you're doing 1 point, keep in mind this only works for 1-point perspective. Whenever you're doing 1-point perspective, you have 3 options, and that's it, just 3. Option number 1, perfectly straight up and down vertical. Option number 2, perfectly side by side horizontal. Or option number 3, goes back to the dot. That's it. Those are your only 3 options. As long as you follow those 3, I promise you'll be fine. Now you're going to be shocked and awed at how many times you don't follow those rules, but I absolutely promise you, 100%, follow that and you won't be wrong. That's the answer. It's like the math teacher giving you the answer to the quiz ahead of time. It's amazing. Okay, so allow me to show you what the heck I mean. If you would, somewhere on your page, just draw a dot. One singular little tiny speck. Then if you would, either on the right or the left-hand side of the dot, I don't care which one, either on the right or the left, on the bottom, draw a perfect, nice little square. Right? So below the dot, on the right or the left-hand side. Okay? Okay. So you are halfway through 1-point perspective. Congratulations. Here we go. Your square has 1, 2, 3, 4 nice little edges, right? Nice little corners. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is this. Connect your dots. It's not perfect. No one cares. Just connect those dots. Okay? Alright. So at this point what you have is like a pyramid lying down or something, right? So if you remember the old trick that I told you before, whenever you were a kid, you did the old copy-paste cube, right? But that cube is basically made up of, and we talked about this before, right? 1, 2, 3 perfectly parallel lines. 1, 2, 3 perfectly parallel lines, and, surprise, 1, 2, 3 perfectly parallel lines. So if I look at my square, right, I've got 1, 2, so I need to make a third. So somewhere on this side, make a nice straight up and down line, going parallel with your other 2. Next, all we're going to do is the exact same thing here. We've got 1 horizontal line, 2 horizontal lines, and then where this intersects right here, I'm going to make another parallel horizontal line. All good? It should be, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? All right, so I want to give you something a little bit tricksy. This is a different demo than I gave my first period, but I think you guys will be able to handle it just fine. Elsewhere on your page, we're going to draw, again, another singular dot. Okay. Now that you have that singular dot, let's have a little bit of fun. I don't really care where you do it. Pick one of the corners. So top, right or left, bottom, right or left, and draw, let's start simple. Draw a square, just a simple old square. Draw it relatively large, don't do a teeny tiny one. Doesn't have to be massive, but do a bigger square. Okay? Whenever you got that square down, go ahead and make it into a cube. Well, this time we're going to do something a little bit different for funsies. Okay. You guys all have your cube? Almost? Okay, that's okay. Go ahead and finish it up. That's good. That's exactly what I want. Alright, so here's what I want to try. And I'm going to throw it out. I'm not going to do a demo for this one. I'm curious to see if you guys can figure it out for yourself. Let's say that this cube, right? Let's say this cube is actually a box with a gift in it. And this gift is nice and wrapped. Right? So I've got my little gift box. Oops, I've got my little gift box right here, right? If you would, show me what the wrapping looks like in 3 dimensions. So if this box was 3-dimensional, how would that work? See if you can figure it out. Give it a try. I'll come around and help you out if you need to, but I'm kind of curious to see if you can kind of muscle through that yourself. Think about the fact that if something is on this square, then it's going to be perfectly flat. Right? But if something's going back on one of these 2 little trapezoidal shapes, then it's going back to the dot. Just like we said before, this is your cheat sheet. Right there. That's your cheat sheet. Perfectly straight, perfectly up and down, or, so you only 3 options. See if you can figure it out. Here's kind of what you were going for, right? So you start off with the flat shape. Anything that's a flat shape, if it is directly facing you, then you know absolutely it's going to be perfectly straight. So again, it kind of co-lines with our icon, right? Perfectly straight, up and down, perfectly straight, side by side. But here, I'm going to go parallel with these, right? So this guy's going to go back to the dot. He goes back to the dot. And notice as things go back to the dot, they get further away from you. They start to vanish before your eyes. But of course, I've got a plus here, so let me do a plus here. And a little plus here. Then if you get really tricksy, you can throw the bow on top too. So, do you guys feel pretty confident with that? Do you have any questions? Like I said, it shouldn't be hard. It's just a matter of feeling comfortable with it. Any questions?
I couldn't draw the bow.
You could. Well, you don't need to draw the bow. That's okay. I was just putting that on for. That's just for fun. That's all. Any other questions? Truly? Okay. So here's what I want you guys to do before I start wrapping up extra early for the day. I'm going to do one more go around. So if you would, put a dot elsewhere on your page. We're going to do one more go, and then we'll be done. All right, you ready? Here's what I want you to do. Try your best, anywhere around here, I don't even care where they are, right? I want you to draw, let's do 5 different squares. They can be close to the dot, they can be far away from the dot, I don't care. Draw 5 squares. You can make them rectangles too if you want to do rectangles instead. So rectangles or squares. You can do them close together, you can do them far apart. I haven't written a book.
Because you're an art teacher and you're illiterate?
I am illiterate, you're right. I speak
kidding.
good, but I write bad.
Why is it so quiet here?
I don't have no idea. I know it's
Like,
terrifying.
was there some, like,
There was a
Mr. Kotak meltdown, now everyone's quiet?
I didn't think so, but it's because I did a lecture, half of them fell asleep during it, so
Your lectures are fun, though.
apparently not.
It's a daylight savings Monday.
I wish Your class is the best class of ever, and you
now
have the
you're
ed
just
classes,
sucking
so.
Okay, so you got 5 different objects, right? So here's the deal. This is your last thing for the day. When do you guys finish this? We're going to let you guys pack up for the day. Please, I would ask you very kindly, don't rush through it. We still have 20 freaking minutes in the day. Don't rush through it for the sake of sitting around playing Game Boy, where the heck you guys are going to do. I assume you all just play Game Boy. I don't know. All right, so here's here's what I want you to do. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on it. Please, if you would, in the, let's say, upper right-hand corner, put a circle, like a legit circle, not a dot. Doesn't have to be big, just a circle. Upper right-hand corner. Now, to give you guys a little bit of a challenge, right? This dot is going to represent,
Meaning life.
yes, this dot's going to represent our light source. So what I want you guys to do is this. Make all of these squares or rectangles into cubes going in space. But then think about how would they be lit and or shaded and do just that. So what side is going to be the lightest? What side is going to be the darkest? And shade it appropriately. Okay? So you'll do that for all 3 of them, or excuse me, all 5 of them. And when you're done, you're done. But I want to see it before you pack up, okay? Good? Questions, comments, concerns, issues? Tissues for your issues? No? Cool. Thank you.